What does it even mean to kick a Shaboozey? What does that mean? The recent controversy with Shaboozey and the Country Music Awards, or the country music space, period, I think is one that converges a lot of different topics. Music as we know it in terms of the country genre and, believe it or not, rap, racial identity and microaggressions, as well as ethnic identity, and also the political landscape that we're in. What's up? I'm HQK. If you know me, then you know that I'm really on TikTok a lot talking about music, specifically rap, but I do have a background in classical music, jazz, and I was in a band. I talk about politics because I have a political science degree, and I'm a black man, ethnically Nigerian, just like Shaboozey. So I think I'm pretty qualified to talk about all of these things. Let's get into it. Who Shaboozey is, that's fair. But I know for sure you most likely know his hit song, A Bar Song, aka Tipsy. It samples Tipsy by Jaquan, a rapper. We'll talk about that a little more. And it's one of the longest charted #1 songs this year, right? Everybody in a club again. Even if you don't listen to country music, you have heard this song some way, somehow. So with that, Shaboozey shows up to the Country Music Awards and not only performs, he's nominated for a few awards in which he got shut out for, right? But he also was subjected to a lot of microaggressions that, quite frankly, aren't very foreign to me as not only a black man, but a Nigerian man in America. Shaboozey's name comes from his last name, Chibuze, which is an Igbo last name. That's the tribe that he's from in Nigeria. And apparently the way he got that name is one of his football coaches couldn't say his name, his last name, so they started calling him Shaboozey, and hence you got what you got. So when Shaboozey shows up to the Country Music Awards and does not win a single award that he's nominated for, whether or not you think he was deserving or not, he shouldn't be subjected to things like this. Johnson, another country music artist, takes the award for Album of the Year. Producer Trent Willman says this line. This is for the cowboy who's been kicking Shaboozey for a lot of years. I was incredibly confused because I'm like, what is that? Well, apparently it was a play on word on kicking booty. But what did that have to do with Shaboozey? What was the reason for the microaggression? I mean, it's bad enough that when you're a son or daughter of an immigrant or an immigrant yourself, you come into a majority white country in which acts as though it can say every foreign European immigrant name, but can't say, foreign black names from Africa, right? So you've already sort of, I guess, taken that out. They can't say Chibuze, but they can say Shaboozey. And then now they're using your name as a pun, I guess, on booty, right? That was supposed to stand for kicking booty. What did that have to do with Shaboozey? But you took that dig. In which Shaboozey replies, ain't nobody kicking me. Stand up for yourself, black man. I love that. Now, the second dig at Shaboozey's name and Shaboozey, period, was before Shaboozey's performance of his hit song, A Bar Song, Tipsy, host Luke Bryan popped in and said, yeah, we call that a Shadoozey in reference to the song, which again, I guess, what does that mean? I'm presuming you're taking a pun with boozy and a doozy, which would really be an insult. Are you claiming that the song puts people to sleep? It was pretty weird. The issue I have with that is Shaboozey played your game. Shaboozey made himself a, I guess, contemporary country song. The video shows contemporary country elements. I'll bet it did sample a rap song and showed up to the venue, performed, was nominated, didn't win, and took it like a champ. He didn't take the route he should have taken that would have been deserving, which is what Beyonce's been doing lately. After, in my opinion, she has been shunned by the country music scene, which is, I'm not coming to your party. I'm not showing up to this. This is Cowboy Carter. This is what we do. The end, right? But then it makes me want to start up the dialogue about country music in itself. And if it's a white genre or it's pretty simply an American genre. I'll keep it short. Country music as a genre, not modern country as you know it now. Country music as a genre does have elements of European immigrants bringing their stories and their instruments to America, combined with African enslaved people that we now know as African American people, bringing also their stories and being able to carve up the instruments that they use back home. And as you trace down the history of country, you see all of these things combined together to make country as we know it. Now, I'm not going to mince my words, and I'm not going to not tell you the whole honest truth. If you look at post 1970s, country music has definitely become a white dominated genre, but it was never a genre, in my opinion, based on the information that I've seen, that should be excluding any group of people. Now, it is, as you can see, something that a lot of black people do not participate in. But to that I say, well, when black people are participating and this is how you treat them, there's no incentive to keep participating. And that's why when you see people, attacking words like DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, they really miss key points, like the last point, which is inclusion. What is the harm in including without microaggressions? Because you could argue you were inclusive of Shaboozey, but you were inclusive with the microaggressions, which is the slap on the wrist at all times that lets people like Shaboozey or myself know you're still not that welcome here, boy. And I don't want to touch on this topic too much, but it does make me want to sort of touch on why I think solidarity amongst black people worldwide is super important, because Shaboozey would be first generation, right? He's a black man, but ethnically Nigerian American. Do you see the similarities in how Beyonce, a superstar, African American, not even, descendants of immigrants, descendants of slave people, is being treated very well in comparison with Shaboozey, right? At the end of the day, they saw Ninja, right? I made this video, I asked myself, am I coming off like a large group of white fans who love Eminem, who argue with me all day when I make fair critiques of Eminem? And I said, no, I don't think I am. And I'll tell you the fundamental difference between how white rappers who respect rap, who are for the craft, are treated versus how Shaboozey, who I've seen to respect country and loves this craft, what the difference is in how they're treated. At the end of the day, before Eminem became extremely popular, before he broke the barrier and went past the gatekeepers of rap, there was pushback to Eminem. I will admit that. His race did not help. And it was mostly because there was a large group of other white rappers who treated the stand as a joke. There's still a number of white rappers that do the same. And there was pushback. And Dr. Dre, being the person who put his arm over Eminem and said, hey, I'm going to help you get in here. We respected Dr. Dre. We said, okay, if Dr. Dre respects you, you must be somewhat of importance. And we still even allowed Eminem to do what caught white America's attention, which is a lot of his jokey songs. My name is what? And my band, and all these different songs. And we also were able to compartmentalize Eminem still being able to be serious on his albums, right? That was grace that we afforded Eminem. Now, are there critiques to be made about Eminem, just like we make critiques about other rappers? Yes. They don't always surround race. So this is not a tit for tat then that I think should be going to Shaboozey or Beyonce, right? It's just pretty simple. The look of this man, the sound of his name. Heck, even the song that they love so much, that's the #1 song in America for a few weeks running, they still inherently know they're not uncomfortable. And if they have to tolerate them, it has to come with sunning them, microaggressions, keeping them down here.